coming up in this episode of Professional Jealousy.
The bottle it's in costs more than, than what's inside, right? I think many are like the marketing plan comes first. And for me, it was product from day one. The beauty industry tries to separate us from ourselves. Buy something that makes you feel beautiful, right? And so with us, we don't use any of those words. This isn't about a company getting built to sell 3 years later and then I don't care what happens after that. I want to build a heritage company. I've made every mistake there is to make, but I think the thing that I've never compromised on is that vision around quality.
Hi, I'm Natasha Jakubowski, Chief Innovation Officer at Anomaly, a global marketing agency. And this is my podcast, Professional Jealousy, where I'm lucky enough to talk to founders, CEOs, and creatives that I'm impressed by and, yes, a little envious of. So today I'm talking with April Gargiulo, the founder and CEO of Vintner's Daughter, an amazing, gorgeous, performance-driven, nutritional skincare company, which I'll definitely ask about. We'll be chatting about her career path that started at her parents' winery before founding her skincare brand, her thoughts about how to achieve cult product status, and how to succeed in the ridiculously cluttered world of beauty. April, hello.
Natasha, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
For anyone who doesn't know Vintner's Daughter, can you give us the elevator pitch?
The elevator pitch. We make, like you said, performance-driven nutritional skincare. While most formulas take a couple hours to make, our formulas take between 3 and 6 weeks to make every single bottle. They begin with whole plants, some of the most nutrient-rich whole plants in the world, plants that we protect through this phytoradiance infusion technology, because that is how we're able to have such a direct connection to our skin. We're able to speak truth to the skin through our formulas. And so not only do you put it on once and, you're a glowing goddess, it's really about, just like our bodies when we feed it well, it's about this iterative process, this compounding process. So it was, or it is something that, as you know, is very near and dear to my heart. We make 3 extraordinary products. Everything we do is about incredible multi-beneficial steps. And we've only made 3 products in, 12 years, which is, insane in the beauty world.
Yeah, no, amazing. So many questions because you really do have a very different kind of take on it. And as you said, 3 products versus just constantly, putting out new SKUs is really unusual. What is talk to me about, you've trademarked the nutritional skincare. How do you think about that element of the Vintner's Daughter kind of?
Yeah. Well, so my background, my family makes wine in Napa Valley. So I grew up in this family, in this community that places an incredibly high value on quality, on craftsmanship, on the time it takes to make something, extraordinary. And so I wanted to apply that methodology, that just take no prisoners from a quality standpoint, to skincare, which is what I knew wasn't out there. I was paying $400 for, some fancy skincare cream. And before this all started, was looking at the ingredients and kind of doing my research and realizing that I paid $400 for this. And the bottle it's in costs more than, than what's inside, right? So that was when I was like, oh my God, I need to do this. And so, like I said, I started to apply this to skincare. And the nutritional skincare piece came out of that. It wasn't necessarily like, it has to be natural. It was really about, let me start where these traditional luxury skincare manufacturers are. And let me just keep peeling back the layers of shortcuts and cutting corners and choosing cheaper. Let me just keep, peeling back that onion. And as I did, I got to a place where the only way I can have the impact on the skin that I want is if I start with whole plants. And so that whole plant, that phytoradiance infusion technology. It's half wisdom, half technology. What we're doing is something people have been creating for centuries. Just no one is willing to take the time to do it
Yeah.
anymore, basically. So it's that nutritional piece. It's why we call it nutritional skincare, because it's really feeding your skin at this very deep, deep level.
Amazing. Um, yeah, and like so, most kind of skincare founders often start with, well, if you know, maybe they start with the lab. You started with a pregnancy. I read like
Oh,
you
well,
take. Can you
it's
take us back
it's
to the moment that
yeah,
you thought, okay, I'm going
it
to
was
do this, and
what
how did you
yeah. It was okay, so the pregnancy is what made me start looking at the back of
looking at the
those very
facts?
expensive things, right? Like, that was it. And I was, researching everything, and again, what stood out to me more than, like, anything being, like, and most of the time it is, unhealthy for, our skin, our bodies, the environment, our water systems, was just how, again, like, I could not believe how cheaply made they were. It was, like, mind-blowing how cheap they were. And so, yes, it started from a place of pregnancy as first-time moms, like, you start looking at all the ingredients of, like, everything in your house, and I was really aware of everything else for the most part, and because I always had bad skin, like, I've had I shouldn't say bad, but whatever, I had, like, cystic acne and pigmentation and all the fun things that come as you get older, and it was one place I had my head in the sand because I thought I would have to compromise to
Mm,
performance standpoint to use something that was natural. And so our formulas from day one were about performance. It was about how do I get the absolute best performance? I don't mean performance in the natural category. I mean performance, you know, and they're just performance. And it had to be multi-beneficial performance because ironically, I'm not the girl who wants to go in the bathroom and spend 30 minutes putting 12 different steps on. Like,
yeah,
that is not my idea of fun. So it was really about creating fewer products and not as a gimmick, right? I think there's a lot of brands now that are like fewer, better, and they come out with 3 and then, 6 months later there's 50. Like
yeah,
this was right. This was this was a real commitment to only create a game-changing, multi-beneficial product so that you could use less and ultimately get better results.
yeah. And how? I mean, I know this is going to sound idiotic, but like, how did you literally start?
Oh, okay. Literally,
Yeah,
I yes. So there was women in my life who knew that I wanted to do this, and I would talk to one, and then that person would say, "You should probably go talk to this person," or I would just start researching women that I, looked up to. I'm in Northern California. It is, and has been a place where, herbalists and naturalists and women growing and creating these, like, concoctions, medicine, healing potions, whatever you want to say. And there's this ecosystem. And there are these women who were just incredibly generous with their time. And like I said, I would talk to one and they'd be like, who else do you think I should talk to? And then, two more. And it would just be this sort of, tree that grew out from there. So that eventually was how the formula was created. I had a very kind of precise vision of what I wanted the formula to do. It needed to be, um, I knew I wanted it to be an oil format. I knew it had to be incredible for acne prone skin, me.
hmm,
And I knew it had to, again, have this multi beneficial. So I needed it to lift and plump and mitigate, pigmentation and, create cellular turnover. Like it had to be a lot in
not
a
just
single pill.
natural, but it works.
No, this wasn't like a finishing oil. This had to be a high-powered serum.
Hmm.
So by the time by the time I had the actual formula developed, I knew that we started with these incredibly nutrient-rich whole plants over 3 weeks. We captured all that beautiful nutrition all in the perfect ratios, and we had this extraordinary bottle of serum, active botanical serum. So, coming from winemaking, it takes 3 years to make a bottle of wine, right? 3 years, and then aging and what have you and then a year of growing all of the grapes. So, my time horizon that I was thinking, that I was used to was like 3 to 5 years to put out a product. So I thought 3 weeks was like nothing. I was like, this is genius. This only takes 3 weeks. And and then I started talking to labs, and they were like, "You've lost your mind." Like, "Oh, aren't you cute?" Like, like little kind of pat on the head. And because they had never worked on anything like this, they never spent more than 3 to 6 hours making anything. Like, it
Yeah.
just wasn't in their wheelhouse. Like, it wasn't, like, in their vernacular. Like, they didn't even know how to wrap their head around it. And, so that was probably also, like, that was something from a professional standpoint that had I not had that kind of that winemaking world behind me of just this understanding of how important time is, how important your raw materials are, and how important it is to honor those. I don't know that I would have had I don't know, the backbone sounds dramatic, but I don't know that I would have had the perseverance to keep moving forward and saying, "No, no, no, this formula
Yeah.
matters. This is important. Like, this is game changing." So that getting the lab took a while.
Yeah. I do feel like, it is very different from how a lot of skincare brands come up, where it's just about some pretty packaging and some contract manufacturing. The idea of taking your time, really thinking about, you know, the ingredients and the mix and the kind of the purposefulness
Right.
of your is an amazing part of, your story that I feel like quite a few brands play with the slow beauty or those kinds of thoughts, but then, as you said, then they come out with tons of products.
And I
Uh,
think many are, and it's the world we live in, it's not just
yeah,
skincare. I think many are like the marketing plan comes first.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like the
yeah,
marketing idea comes first and then product comes second. And for me, it was product from day one. Like
yeah,
I didn't even think of what a name was going to be for this. Like
yeah.
nothing, right? It was just about what was inside that bottle.
Yeah. I mean, I do love the name, and obviously there's a wink there to the fact that you are a Vintner's
Right,
daughter.
right.
And it is a gorgeous brand. Like, how did you so you've got these amazing kind of formula, then how did you do the branding? How did you think I know it's sustainable and good packaging, but, in terms of the actual
Packaging, I
design
mean,
and stuff.
it was everything we do is driven by performance, right?
Yeah,
Like, we don't craft a scent. We don't everything we do is about performance. Every ingredient we choose, everything, every box we choose, every glass we choose, every seal we choose. It's all
yeah,
about, like, ensuring and maintaining the performance of it. So, I mean, you've seen our packaging, it's pretty
yeah.
simple. I mean,
Simple,
right?
yeah,
It's very simple. Like, there's the idea wasn't about, "Let me sell this based on packaging," right? That was the thing that I was kind of, like, grossed out by in skincare that was
yeah,
like, I just paid for the packaging because what's
yeah,
inside is, like, worthless." So, but our glass comes from a scientific, manufacturer in Germany who created this very specific kind of glass. It looks black, but it's actually really, really dark violet,
yeah,
and it is, only allows certain light rays to go
yeah.
in,
So
so
it
it
doesn't
protects.
degrade the inside.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's something from winemaking, like, something, like, I know is critical for preserving and even being able to enhance what's inside the bottle. Like, you would never put, you know, um, a Napa Valley Cabernet or a Bordeaux in a clear glass bottle, right, and expect
yeah.
it to be beautiful. You have to protect and honor what's inside. So, it was never a choice about marketing. I mean, if I was making a choice on marketing, Natasha, I would have the clearest glass ever. Because have you seen how beautiful that color is?
Yeah,
It would
yeah.
be, like, clear as day. It would be like you could just, like, swirl it around and just, like, enjoy that color, but
Interesting. Um, I do think, I mean, how one of the interesting things that you've managed to do that I feel, again, a lot of brands are hoping to create a cult hero product, but that's what you achieved. You had celebrities, you managed to kind of get this insider's cult beauty brand status. How did you do that? Was it did you do anything, or it just happened because people loved the product, or like what sort of marketing did you do in the early years? How did people find it?
I didn't I mean, I made great product. Like, that literally, that's what it was, and people told each other. I knew no one. I mean, I was coming from Napa Valley. I was coming from a wine growing re I knew no one, um, and just word spread. Natasha, I started this I had I had like a website built with like a PayPal account in the back. My my first email about this was from a Hotmail account. Uh, right? It was like so lo-fi what I was
Yeah.
doing. So
Was your
lo-fi.
first run? How many products was your first
Oh, I
run?
had to beg my lab to maybe, and their normal kind of minimum, I think was 10,000, 5,000. I can't remember now. And I had to beg them to only do, I think, 500. And also that felt like jumping off a ledge to me, like, "Oh my god, how am I gonna sell 500?" And then what happened is I mean, the first 100 orders were from friends and families, I'm sure.
Mm.
But then I started to, because I would pack every box, like, it was me.
Yeah.
And so then I'm printing the labels and all this stuff. But then I started seeing people that, like, I didn't know, and from places I've never been, and it just started growing. I think with anything that becomes cult or what have you, everyone sort of thinks that it just was shot out of a cannon and it was there, but there's so much work. And, no, I was really lucky. I'm still really lucky today that the people who use Vintner's Daughter, um, like, very generously tell their friends, tell their family. I mean, we've heard stories of people getting stopped on the street. "What are you using on your skin?"
Amazing.
And right? And so, it's I always say we grew G to G, girlfriend to girlfriend, and that was it. That's still it.
Yeah.
And
Any
yes,
tip
some of those girlfriends are, Hailey
Gwyneth
Bieber
Paltrow.
and Gwyneth Paltrow and Rachel, you know what I mean? Some of those girlfriends are big. So,
Yes.
right.
Okay. Any tips for people thinking about I mean, I do think beauty is one of the most that and beverages maybe, one of the most crazy, cluttered, just so many brands, almost disposable brands that just come and go.
Almost,
Any
yes.
advice for people thinking about going into the beauty space?
Well, it's okay, so this is something I don't really talk that much about, and it's woven throughout our brand, but if you don't know, you won't see it. I think it's subliminal. I think you feel it, but you might not see it. I think anytime if you pick up a bottle and it makes you feel like less than, and that's why you should buy it, I think you have to and this is maybe woo-woo, I don't know, but, like, I think it's real. I think the beauty industry tries to separate us from ourselves, tries to tell us that we need to get fixed because we're broken, we need to get corrected because we're wrong, we need to not age because apparently us being dead is, the preferable thing. We need to transform ourselves because, we're not fine the way we are. Like, there's just a lot of words that get
Wow.
used a lot, and they're whatever. It's not like each one is earth-shattering, but it's like an accumulation, right?
Yeah.
And so I think if you're buying something because you think you need to fix something or correct something, or you're like you're feeling somehow badly about yourself, like, that bottle is not going to do it. Like, buy something that makes you feel beautiful, right? And so with us, we don't use any of those words. Again, I could put it in a clear package or a clear glass and spray paint anti-aging all of it and fix and correct and transform in all these
Yeah.
words, but we don't. And I think there's a feeling there. Like, I really think there is a feeling there that whether you recognize it or not, when you're using Vintner's Daughter, like, you feel good. I we have I mean, our community is extraordinary, but we've had community members, like many, write something to the effect of, "This has changed my relationship to my skin."
Mhm.
And for me, that's a huge piece of it. I would love for women to go from a place of, kind of feeling insecure about their skin to a place of joy and confidence and gratitude in their skin.
Mhm.
And there's a lot that goes into that, of course, but if I can do any piece of that, it is something that is really important to me.
Yeah. No, and I think that's so different, and hopefully something I think there's a kind of bifurcation in the market almost, like, you've got the anti-agings, and to be honest, like, I mean, I'm always amazed. I live in Soho, in New York, and I cannot tell you how many injection med spa places are just popping up that sell, you know, Botox fillers, but also GLP-1s that you can just buy. Like, you've got that
You don't
whole
need a prescription?
I don't think so. I mean, like you can inject all these things and then the whole kind of, the whole new look of women today and older celebrities. And then you've got the other side I think there is like a reaction to that and like talking about something that's more about feeling good and confidence. I think there's kind of a split out there.
Hard, right? I mean, because neither of those is bad or
No,
good or whatever, right? Like it's you have to go on what feels good to you. But I think the thing that's hard is understanding, like, not the what, but like the why. Like
why?
understanding the why is really hard, right?
Yeah,
It's just hard.
yeah,
And getting increasingly hard every single day. And I don't think any of us get to see a full spectrum of information or for full spectrum of viewpoints because, our apertures, because of algorithms, what have you, like just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So it's really hard to see like above this kind of
yeah,
world that we live in.
yeah. No, do you have a why? Like something that you think about in terms of uh, what is kind of driving what you're doing or what the brand is about? I'm just
Yeah,
wondering,
I
as a
mean,
strategist, I'm wondering if you have like an actual.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have our vision, our mission is to become one of the very first luxury skincare brands in the US, right? We're creating, I'm not, this isn't about quarterly earnings or, I mean, listen, we have to have a profitable company, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But this isn't about building a company that gets, how about I say it like this? This isn't about a company getting built to sell 3 years later and then I don't care what happens after that, right?
Yeah.
Like I got my money out of it, I'm good. I want to build a heritage company. I would want to build something that like our values um last. Our values are impactful, not only to our community but to the beauty world. I mean, I came into this thinking, oh, no one's gonna use anti-aging anymore, in, like, 5 years, like, that's ridiculous, no one's gonna use, and meanwhile, like, what do I know? Um, and then so, I've got a big poster in my office, it says this was for our 10-year anniversary, it says, "10 years down, 100 more to go," and what I that's my that's my horizon, that's our North Star.
How do you think about, so you mentioned 6 weeks, kind of development process for a formula. How do you scale? I mean, it is luxury price points, but how do you think about scaling and keeping that cult status? Like, there's a tension there. Like, how do you grow
Mm.
quality and still kind of look to grow?
I mean, quality is always number 1. Like, the quality is never compromised. Sourcing is never compromised. I mean, we're also a B Corp, so sustainability is never compromised.
Mhm.
Impact on our earth and her people is never compromised. Positive beauty, never compromised. And so to that end, we have to find partners who, are ready to embrace that. And we're really lucky that there are, right? We have, and I mean, retail partners, but I really mean like operational and labs and, people who are making our boxes, people who are, growing our raw materials. That ecosystem is something that is really supportive of us, and we're not, you know, we've had years where it's just like insane growth, like, you're all just like holding on for dear life. We have, a much more kind of sustainable growth trajectory that is very intentional and
Mhm.
again allows us to grow for, um, decades versus, quarters.
Yeah. And do you do marketing now or
Yeah.
like
No, I
sort
mean,
of
I'm talking to you.
what's your strategy now in terms
We,
of.
I mean, we're not doing, big advertising. We have like, um, ads we do on Meta, but it's not, we don't ever nothing goes on sale. It's never a buy one, get one free. It's never a bundle, like ever, just doesn't
Mm,
happen. So we have incredible, creator communities. We have incredible, stockist partners who there's a physical retail environment that people can go into and experience our brand. It's quieter marketing, I would
yeah,
say, and like many kind of smaller things that kind of add up. But our women, our community, I mean, these are really discerning people.
yeah.
It's the thing that I know most. we had a study done on our, kind of trying to understand our demographics.
Yes.
And, intuitively, I already knew this.
Yeah.
What we realized is that there's really not a single, it's a very big generation or age range. She's not just living on the coast. What we know is that they are they are the most discerning women. They're the most discerning
Yeah.
women in their group. They're the most discerning women in, their community. They don't settle for less. And I don't mean they're the most that they're spending the most money. I mean,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they buy, what they bring into their house has
Yeah.
to live up to values,
Yeah.
and
There's
they
a
don't compromise.
shared mindset around the kinds of products they buy. I
Yeah,
can kind of almost imagine the brands outside of beauty that they're buying.
right. Exactly. It's brands with integrity,
Yeah.
right? I don't know, but ultimately that's what it is.
Would you consider Vintner's Daughter almost like a quiet luxury brand? Does it fit that kind of world?
I don't even know what that means anymore. Yeah, 25 years ago, yes. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to even point to who that is anymore, right? The
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that
yeah.
25 years ago, you were like, easy breezy, like, that's who it is. Th Not so quiet anymore. So,
True.
um, it's, and the luxury piece is questionable too. So it's I would say we're craftsmen. I was saying like we're craftsmanship. We are the person making the most, in a studio in Kyoto making the most beautiful knife. We're the person in oh my gosh, weaving the most beautiful basket. We're the person who is carving something just perfectly. It's about this level of craftsmanship and attention to detail and creating something that is incredibly positive, impactful, not just for a minute, but for a lifetime.
Yeah. I know that you've got some new products coming
Oh,
out.
yes. I never get to talk about new Natasha.
I know.
It's
I
very
well, so
exciting.
and this is a big deal. Like
I'm
you've had
already like, wow,
3,
I
you've
forgot about
had
it already.
3.
I know. It's very
Tell I mean,
exciting.
like, what so first, not that this is radically increasing, but, like, it kind of is because 'cause you're going from 3 to a couple more. So what prompted you
Yeah.
to start thinking about, growing growing your
I know,
portfolio?
getting crazy and adding stuff. Well, one of them is a limited edition that we do every year. There's a the quality of the harvest is
Yeah.
where we want it. We do it. So this is I think our third or fourth. We do a scent. So it's a limited edition scented oil. We
Mm.
work with a master perfumer who left kind of synthetic scent world to really have felt like more of a challenge with natural. She also, and this is something that I don't love about traditional scent is that it's so static, like it doesn't evolve.
Mhm.
And so she really wanted that challenge really. And so we work with her. It's called Understory. Understory is this space between in a forest between the canopy and the ground floor and everything that's happening in between. And that was really what the scent was meant to represent. And so we have our, like I said, I think it's our
Love
third,
it.
it's our third or fourth vintage edition of Understory, which we're really excited about. And then we have our, so that phytoradiance infusion piece that's the heart and soul of every product we make. That's the 3 to 5 week process. That, this we've been working on it for a couple years to be able to make it even, more concentrated, and we finally were able to do it, and so our cleanser, Active Renewal Cleanser, will be the first product to, be released with that updated, phytoradiance infusion, so we're really excited about that. The brightening, the botanicals we use in it are botanicals that for, like, centuries have been used by herbalists, medicine people to help heal because
Yeah.
they stimulate circulation. And that healing process is really what a big part of it is brightening, but also building elastin, helping to build collagen. So, what we wanted to do with cleanser is turn a step that was kind of a throwaway step, right? Like
Yeah.
cleanse, and then you get to the real stuff. We wanted to make cleansing a treatment step. We
Yeah.
wanted you to begin the actual serious skincare with cleanser. And so that our Active Renewal Cleanser begins that process by increasing that circulation under the skin that is still brightening and building collagen and elastin well after you wash it off. And you wash it off, your skin is completely clean. It feels so like balanced. And one of our community members wrote in and said, my skin feels so bouncy, which is a weird description, but that is how it actually feels. You're like touching, you're
Yeah.
like, have you ever been to one of those, like a track field outside or a sports
Oh,
course
yeah, where the
outside?
floor
And
is.
it's got that
Yeah.
that, like, whatever that feel is, that's how your skin feels after cleanser. So,
Yeah. No, I love that kind of sensorial feedback that your skin is feeling alive and plump and juicy and ready.
yeah,
Okay, interesting. Well, I look forward to trying that. What do you think that your consumers aren't getting from existing brands? Like what are brands doing wrong when they talk to this consumer, this discerning consumer?
I don't know with the actual formula and the messaging
Yeah.
that they're trying to build a long time relationship with her. Right? The pace at which the formulas that they're creating are formulas that they know they're gonna obsolesce within a year unless they take off. Most brands have, let's say they have 50 SKUs, 50 products. 2 of them or 3 of them are what really drive 80% of the business. And so the other ones are really there as just kind of marketing campaigns, right?
Yeah.
They come and they go. And, I don't know, I think for me as a customer, I just that I might buy it once, but I don't know that I can create like an actual trusting relationship with that kind of pace.
I was thinking about in terms of other products,
Well, I
like,
was gonna say, wait, how would you answer that question?
I mean, I think,
You're the expert.
well, I don't know about that, but yeah, I think what's interesting is, I mean, I work with a lot of big brands as well as small ones, and I think it's hard on many levels. There is a difference between a brand that you can see the why and you can feel the soul, and your story hangs together and builds over time because it comes from a
'Cause it's
belief.
real.
Yeah, which I think more and more I do look around, especially in beauty. Like I work in lots of categories, but I do think there's a kind of, we've been in an era of kind of disposable branding because it's become too easy to create something. And yet people aren't thinking about what's the real need that people have or what's the real difference that they're delivering on. So then it does become packaging or a marketing strategy. So I don't know. I know you've been around for a while, but I think there is like this return back to, whether it's the slow beauty or the intentional, so thank God people are moving away from the 12 steps, and I think these things come and go. But yeah, I think definitely seeing more brands that are starting to appear and be, get noticed because they're the reaction to all of that kind of disposability, the kind of superficial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I 100% see everything you're saying, and it's gonna be fascinating. The cycles are so fast now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
So,
mean? Like, they just it's like you can't as soon as you kind of can describe it's on to the next.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's the pace is staggering.
Yeah. Staggering. I mean, where do you see your brand going in the future? Like, you are nutritional skincare. Do you ever think about going into kind of ingestibles or into other products that kind of do the inside out? Or are there,
Yeah, that's a great
you know, the,
question.
perfume thing is also interesting because I know that's more of a, yeah, it's less core and it's a gorgeous kind of product, but like that's also somewhere that,
Yeah,
you know,
that's sort of
brands
a
have gone to, the candles, the perfumes.
yeah.
Like what's in the future for
Well,
Vintners?
remember, we also have a real, commitment to safety,
Yeah.
of not only our bodies, but our world. And so there was a lot in fragrance, and fragrance in general that doesn't live up to that. So
Yeah.
there are these beautiful constraints we have that I love that I think are really something. They're like, they're like really beautiful guardrails.
Yeah.
And so this scent is something that's really exciting. Again, we make this small little batch every year. It's the same formula every year, but because we're working with whole plants, vintage, I keep saying vintage from the wine world, the harvests are
Yeah.
different, right? The conditions of the growing season
Yeah.
impact the scent. And so it's always really fun to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't know, I think body would be a really interesting place to play in if we could. I mean, remember our skin's our largest organ,
Yeah.
right? Largest organ. And so for me, everything we put on our skin is impactful to our overall system. And so right now we've only ever focused on face, although I would like to drench myself in all of it. Active treatment
Yeah.
essence, because it's so pumping and lifting. I'm always like, I want to get into one of those like spray tanning booths and just have
Yeah.
it like, you know what I mean? Like
All
douse me
over.
head to toe.
Sounds
I've been
very
talking about
luxurious.
it. I know, right? I've actually been talking about that for a while. I need to just see if I could make that happen. Um, anyway, so I think body is a really interesting place for us
Yeah.
to move into just because I want to be able to treat our body in the same way. Yeah, ingestibles for whatever reason is never really, and I know that's such a huge, huge market.
Yeah.
It's not super, what do I want to say, supervised in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of the Wild West. Yeah, I can't see you going into that. I mean, body definitely makes sense, and sense makes sense more than ingestibles. I guess the nutritional kind of beauty, if I'm honest, that phrase has always thrown me a little bit when I
Oh,
think.
tell me why.
I think because you have so many other great ideas as part of the brand, and
Oh,
it kind
like
of
you think it's too limiting.
no, I think it's.
I'm getting free advice right now, Natasha.
Uh,
Let's go.
what do I know? I think you have so many other things, and it's almost not limiting. It's more of a kind of red herring in a funny way.
Ooh, tell me.
The way that the infusions work and things like that. Like you've got so many other language that you have this phrase, and it takes your mind without knowing anything to something else slightly. I don't know.
Like
Anyway.
what? No, come on. I no, for real. Tell me. You can't hurt my feelings, Natasha. Just go
No,
for
no,
it.
I just the idea, like nutritional sounds. I get the kind of skin food
Oh,
kind of
it
thought, but it
sounds
goes
not as
to
like romantic, or it doesn't. Romantic's not the right word. It sounds too
yeah, no, it
clinical.
almost seems too kind of like food nutritional. Like, and I know
Oh,
it's kind of the skin food idea, but I feel like there's so many other thoughts with the Vintner store. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
no,
Um,
I would like to keep talking about this. I
yeah,
would like to
we'll
just.
talk offline.
Okay.
Anyway, I
No, I mean,
mean,
I'm joking, but now
in
you've got my
all
brain moving.
honesty, anything if I can ever be helpful, then let me know. I would, I would happily talk to you about anything. We're running out of time. I'm wondering, and I can kind of tell, but as a strategist, I would love to hear you talk about what you think makes a good brand. And I'm just curious if you have any favorite brands outside of beauty.
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, what do I think makes a great brand? Truth, right? I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, and sadly, that's not super easy to find, right? Like truth. And I think like it's funny because you're coming from the world like a strategist, right? We're just moving along. Like, nutritional skincare, that'll be something that I take to my exec team. And I'm like, let's put this really smart woman just told me this, guys. Like, who knows what she's talking about? Like, putting it on the table. Let's talk. Um, and yeah, and then what other companies? Oh my gosh. Where do I begin? Instead, not companies, I think of people that are doing their work. I think about this woman in England or in the UK who's making Anne-Marie Sullivan, who she makes these like the most beautiful baskets you've ever seen in your life. I think about oh my God. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I have um I have a interior designer friend who just how she sources is just like so perfect and intentional
Yeah.
and, with integrity. Um I
Yeah.
my mind is swirling.
Intentional brands with integrity. I can see that.
And I think there's expression. I
Yeah.
like brands that start with a natural material.
What's the hardest part about trying to grow a brand in a trend-driven competitive category?
The hardest part is new, like getting new community now. It didn't used to be like this.
Yeah.
Now, because it's so noisy. And again, we have these incredibly discerning people. I think a lot of them have just taken themselves out of it. They're like they recognize that it's literally just destructive, basically noise. And they've just kind of taken themselves out of them. So I think like that world of discovery has become increasingly hard for us. And with that said, once she discovers us, we have a community that's incredibly loyal. And so there's like both sides of it, right? The kind of this incredible joy and gratitude we have for this community that just supports us and loves us, and the piece of it's really hard for them to find us these days.
Yeah. Yeah, just so much noise. What do you think, uh has been kind of part of how you've been successful as a founder? Like you came from wine, and obviously
Yeah.
there's storytelling and craftsmanship and attention to detail. But like, how do you, you're a founder, you're a CEO, you've successfully, this brand has lasted. Like, um, what do you think has been kind of part of your kind of success in terms of being a founder?
Well, I mean, I've made every mistake there is to make, no question, and I've learned from them, like really learned from them. And I think the thing that I've never compromised on is that vision around like quality and what's in the bottle. The sustainability piece is something I have never compromised on. The things that are like the kind of the three legs of our stool, right?
Yeah.
This like incredible product, like nothing else like it. Never compromise on any piece of this.
Yeah.
And then the sustainability piece that again, it's not I think what we do is table stakes, Natasha, like from an environmental and positive beauty and giving back. I think it is table stakes. So it's always kind of there.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily always see, but it's
Yeah.
something that's I've always really kept a very clear vision on.
Yeah. No, so interesting. Um, I'm gonna be moving into quick fire rounds, but,
Let's do it.
I'm just wondering, I mean, like, I I can imagine I'm imagining that, like, where you live in, Napa and beautiful, like, I wanna understand, what do you do for yourself, to
Oh,
ground yourself every day?
yeah.
I'm just curious, like, any, like,
Well, I am
rituals or, you
yeah, I
know.
mean, I I start my day with this tea that's hand harvested from this very small family plot in Taiwan. Like like it's simple, but it's real, right?
Yeah.
I like almost unethically use a clear teapot because I like it's like almost meditative um to watch because they start like tight little balls and then they
That
bloom.
yeah, yeah.
So that's a piece of it. I have a beautiful family that I love, like being really intentional about spending time with them. My office is in the Presidio. It's literally in a national park. Like San Francisco Bay is outside my window. I cold plunge in there with a group of women often, and I do things that connect me to myself and our world. Like that's the thing. Like the tea is connective to our world and nature. Getting in the water is connective. I like to be in the flow. And again, this is so woo woo and the whole thing, but I think it's real. I like to be in that energy flow, right? Like I really appreciate that and have cultivated an ability to kind of like drop into it.
Yeah, amazing. All right, we're gonna go to more quick fire, the slightly more frivolous. We're gonna start with
Let's do
what
it. Well, I'm frivolous too. Don't worry.
um, What is one beauty trend you wish would just disappear?
Anti-aging, just the word. Like, I get that we all want to be youthful and, all the things, but the word anti-aging, I think, is a little predatory.
Yeah. Okay. Um, is there any belief about business that you've changed your mind on over the years?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think I underestimated the importance of team at the very beginning. I think I underestimated, like, the idea that I've got this great product and I have this idea of how it's gonna be in the world, and I don't need I don't need an extraordinary team. Like, now I have an extraordinary team now, like, I know that that's probably even more important than having an incredible strategy.
Interesting. That's
Sorry, Natasha, I hope that doesn't fly in the face of all the things you're doing.
no, no. That I mean, I'm sad that we didn't talk more about team. I'm
Team
curious.
is everything.
Do you have a kind of? I spoke to, for example, Annie, the founder of Credo
Oh,
Beauty,
I
and
love Annie.
yeah, I can imagine that you would get
I
on.
love her.
She had like some criteria that helped that she'd kind of developed to understand h- who to hire. Do you have any tips or things
Yes,
you
we
look
have
for?
we have very real criteria. We have a very precise, lengthy process. Um, you know, and knock on wood, I feel like we've gotten it down, and it doesn't always work. I have a friend who's, like, insanely successful, and I remember going through an era where we were hiring people, it just wasn't working or what have you, and I was like, "I just don't know what I'm doing wrong." He was like, "April, it's 50-50." I was like,
Whatever you do, it's for
I told me, I was like,
well,
"Ah." Anyway,
any
we're
quick
doing much
insights
better than
into
50-50 these days.
any quick insights into things that you look for? Like, what's a vintner's daughter kind of? Is there a type of
I mean,
person
for
or
us, there needs to be a baseline of knowledge, obviously experience, but, like, we really look for,
yeah,
like, passion and enthusiasm and, like, the energy. Remember, we're a small team.
yeah,
This is not startup, but this is still that kind of mentality. So
yeah,
somebody who's just, like, ready to learn, ready to grow, ready to kinda get her hands or their hands into everything. It's more of a mindset that, or I should say mindset is a really big piece of what we look
yeah.
for.
Okay. Best career advice, worst career advice you've ever had?
The best is, I mean, my parents are incredibly supportive. They're like, "No risk, no reward, April." Like, like, in my head, I can hear them being like, "What's the worst that could happen? You're not gonna die." Right? And you're like, "Oh, okay, if I see it in that light, okay." Um, Worst, I think I think, like, getting ahead of your skis, at least for me, this idea of, like, hire and they will come, wasn't something that worked for me because it didn't work for our company because I wasn't gonna compromise,
Mhm.
the values who we are in order to, like, fill those shoes, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Um, what do you think your superpowers are that have helped you, be successful in life?
Like, just holding a vision, I don't know, being stubborn, um, I don't know, just believing in what we're doing, so just with so much heart and hustle. You know what I mean? Like, we all work really hard, like, to make this dream, it's every day understanding that that North Star is there, and that's what we're moving towards.
Amazing. Last question. Um, tell me someone or something that you're professionally jealous of.
Okay, I don't know if it's jealous, but it's like these women that I just
Yeah.
have such admiration for, the company they built, who they are. There's a company in Australia called Mecca,
Mm,
um, and Mecca is like, imagine like a beauty emporium that just was discovery and you were super interested, but there's many, right? There's like I don't know that they have as many doors as Sephora, but like that kind of scale. And they have built this company that is just um like so values oriented,
mhm.
so mission aligned, And it's a big, it's a big company, and they've
Yeah.
held on to that. And I mean, again, I have like goosebumps. I actually I got to meet with them yesterday. I flew down. They were here, and I flew down to LA to get to meet with them. And 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 they're just like so cool. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like they wear like the coolest clothes. Like they're really just like confident, amazing, smart women, and they want to help you, and they want to be, all the things. And so the company that they've built, I think, is a embodiment. I don't know, of all of that they've really held a vision for, which
Yeah.
I think is beautiful. And I know how hard it is, and I can't imagine how hard it is at their scale.
Yeah. Amazing. April, thank you so much. This
Thank
has
you,
been
Natasha.
wonderful.
I'm gonna start a podcast so that I can interview
I
you.
let me know if there's anything that I can do to help. All right, I'm going to read us out. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I love April's philosophy and approach to brand building, which is just, the epitome of authenticity and standing your ground and having an idea with integrity and then building purposefully and not compromising. Yeah, and so at odds with so many of the kind of brands coming out today. So amazing. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share. You can find them wherever you get podcasts: YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Get in touch with any questions, feedback, or anyone that you want to see featured. Thank you.